Hey everybody, welcome back to Starfyre Gaming. I am Sir Joseph, and this is episode 33 of our Let's Play Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Nevia was usually been hanging out here. I wonder where she went to. Let's go find someone to talk to. Excuse me. Alright. That's me in blue. We'll just talk to Dearan, Camellia, Sela, Lan. Talk to Nino already. Talk to Ember. Talk to Wooljiff. Was it Wooljiff we talked to? I thought we talked to Wooljiff. Let's see what requests we got here. Find and kill Kaelisa. Deal with this feud. That's fine. Find the lost relic. So we just need a slightly better army. Go to Heaven's Edge. That's for our buddy. Oh, need to talk to Sela. That's who we'll go to. Talk to Sela. Got to follow these riddles. And we got to make it to Dresden. Alright, well let's go talk to Sela, because that's part of a quest. And she's over here, so we'll click right there. And head on over.
Let us be off.
Sela looks sad and pensive. It's good to see you. Get this. Janna, the one who ran away when we were attacked by demons, never went back to her unit. She was seen running towards Numeria. Looks like she deserted. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Or not the only thing. Since our raid on the Houndheart's camp, I've had the sinking feeling that I made a mistake. Dragging you into this, I mean. I should have known that a raid along the edge of the World Wound wouldn't be so easy. But mostly, I was wrong about a lot of people. About Janna, who lost her nerve and abandoned her friends. About Curl. I knew he was a thief, but I really thought he'd turned over a new leaf and deserved a little compassion and trust. And Ellen, or Alan. I thought we were kindred spirits, friends through thick and thin, but it looks like I was wrong about him too. Sela looks at you closely, waiting for an answer. Don't lose your trust in people, Sela. So what if you made a few mistakes? It's no reason to give up on your ideals. Somebody has to show people that there's a better path. Sela's expression brightens. Thank you, my friend. I needed that support. She sighs. Thanks for listening to my grumbling and for helping me get to the bottom of this. I'm not going to leave things where they stand. If I get a chance, I'll track down Janna and see if I can talk some sense into her and find out why Curl did what he did. I can't stop thinking about what Elan told me, and in the end, I really have become more powerful than paladins who are far more experienced and selfless than me. There's something not right about it. A servant of Iometi should gain the power through dedicated personal effort. It's the only way to make sure they'll use the power for good. Our journey so far, it's all wrong. And I mean, I need to be there. And it means I need to be 3 times as hard on myself now. Reading. It's very hard. Alright. Let's see if we got anything else there for her. Nope, that's all checked off. Okay. So now let's talk to Sela for real. Or we can go talk to Dearan. Let's go talk to Dearan. There he is. I don't think we talked to him before. There you are. May I ask you a few personal questions? You can try. I've heard stories about the tragedy that befell your family. I hope you don't feel obligated to offer me your insincere condolences on this unfortunate occasion. My whole family, my entire noble line, they all died, and demons are to blame. It's not like I actually loved any of my relatives except for my mother, but what's gone is gone. The family crypts are full of corpses, all covered in dust and shadows of the past. What do you cherish most in life? Expect a Conan the Barbarian soliloquy here. There are far too many things that I cherish to fit them all into a single conversation. Believe it or not, but I might be one of the most life-loving people you'll ever know. Dearan smiles. His eyes are gleaming with something different from his usual impudence and irony. There's a dreamy air about him all of a sudden. I rarely meet anyone who embraces the joys of living as enthusiastically as myself. There are so many exciting and beautiful things in the world. It should be illegal to waste your time on anything you do but enjoy. And I'm not afraid to repeat that to anyone's face, be it to Descari and his demonic horde, or Iomede the Lightbringer herself. What do you hate the most? The feeling of hopelessness, the lack of control over my own life. Dearan replies without thinking, and he adds, with obvious sarcasm, and onion rings, of course. I'd murder the person who came up with those abominations. You don't seem especially keen on helping people, but your knowledge of healing is truly impressive. What prompted your interest in that? If you really want to try out everything life has to offer, you also have excuse me. You also have to understand how to deal with the consequences. And I'm not talking about a simple hangover, mind you. Do you have any good stories about your past exploits? I've got plenty, but I have to warn you that even the most outrageous debauchery sounds far less thrilling when you're not the one doing the debauchering. Still, since you asked, I suppose the worst mess ever gotten myself into was when I staged my own kidnapping. All right. I was once a correspondence with one of the Riverland nobles, a young Lord Labada, and he told me about his days as a hostage to a group of bandits. This made me wonder what it would be like, and I thought that it might be fun to set up a little experiment. I engineered my own kidnapping with a certain gang through a chain of intermediaries and hired actors. Those fellows took the job very seriously. They caught me by surprise, killed my two bodyguards, and even tied me up. Of course, the whole thing seems preposterous now, but it seemed like an ingenious idea at the time. The employers, who told the kidnappers that they were to keep me safe and sound, and another group of mercenaries in disguise was watching the spectacle from afar, ready to intercede in case anything went wrong. It turned out to be a terrible idea nonetheless. It wasn't the least bit fun or exciting. Sure, those bandits had been unable to torture or hurt me physically in any way, but they had plenty of other non-evasive methods of humiliation in their arsenal. Talking about your taking almost all your clothes off and splashing ice cold water all over you, for example. Ugh. I can't even remember if I said anything truly offensive to provoke them. Even though I initially planned to let them go after the ransom, their overly emotional reactions made me change my mind. I told my mercenaries to hang them all on the spot. I suppose the whole ordeal taught me a valuable lesson, which is that I am not built for hardships and trials. Wait, you told me that a couple of your bodyguards died during the staged kidnapping? Does that mean two innocent people lost their lives so you could have a little bit of fun? Dearan pales a little, but not out of shame. Oh, spare me. It irks me beyond all measure when I hear about the suffering of innocence. He sighs, looks away, and continues a flat, polite tone. Yes, the bodyguards died. Guarding a noble is a dangerous job. They were well aware of the risks. I don't really see a problem with that. Besides, they proved their incompetence. They would have stood no chance against real kidnappers. These mind games of yours will come back to bite you sooner or later. I hope not. I enjoy myself. I enjoy my life. And I'd like to keep this going for as long as possible. So, that was a stupid story. And now I'll tell you I'll tell you a truly brilliant one. Prelate Hulrun had always strictly prohibited any public celebrations in Canabras, and he always picked on me for my lack of respect for the fallen and whatnot. His grumblings annoyed me so much that one day I drove 4 barges into the city harbor and set up a celebration on their docks. My throat. On their decks, excuse me. The ships on the river didn't fall in under the prelate's jurisdiction, you see, so all he could do was snarl at me from the embankment. I, for one, did not forget the old boy. The main attraction of the festivities involved an inquisitor of Iomade dancing and roasting beautiful witches on illusionary bonfires, taking off his clothes with every new victim. The spectacle was so heated, in every sense of the word, that the prelate almost had a stroke. Dearan gives you a mischievous smile. I still consider that one of my finest ideas of all time. I kind of liked it too, because Herlin's a jerk. Should the Crusaders ever succeed in their efforts against the World Wound, I will do my utmost to get permission to hold a grand public celebration. Rivers of wine, free of charge, an obligatory parade, and a carnival in the evening. A contest for the most provocative succubus costume with a hefty prize in gold. Another contest where the participants have to fish a sausage out of a wine jar blindfolded, with their hands tied behind their back. The wine will symbolize the blood of all the dead heroes of the war, and the sausage, well, they'll find a heroic meaning for that as well. Over the years, the commemoration of the greatest victory of light over darkness will turn into an ordinary holiday, and a fine excuse to get sloshed and run like animals in the street. Do you enjoy being mean to everyone? Yes. And here I thought you were hurling insults at people purely by accident. Dearan smiles. This time the smile is surprisingly soft. I like your way with words. What did you expect me to say if I wanted to make a good impression? Something along the lines of, I'm not mean, I'm just being honest with myself and everyone else. That's what people use as an excuse when they want to keep up their saccharine facade while still saying whatever nasty little thoughts spring to mind. That is not what I do. I have no hidden agenda. I'm just as much of an insufferable prick as I seem to be. Some people are simply begging for a good dose of mockery, so who am I to deny them? I don't give a damn if anyone holds a grudge against me, which is why I don't even try to avoid it. I have no more questions. I hope this conversation was at least the slightest bit amusing. I'd like to talk to you about life in Mendev and the Crusade. Ask, I'm all ears. What is Queen Galfrey like in person? You mean my dearest cousin? Oh, she is the embodiment of all the virtues one can possibly think of, and all the unthinkable ones as well. She's beautiful, wise, charismatic, sharp-witted, a kind yet ambitious ruler, a skilled fighter, and a beacon of faith for all the worshippers of Iomide. Have I already mentioned her unrivaled beauty? I am more than sure that even her cooking is delicious. If she would deign to descend to the realm of the mortals and actually try to cook something, the old bitch. Dearan's bored tone doesn't waver until these last words. If you think I am insulting her dishonorably behind her back, then you are wrong. Her Majesty is perfectly aware of my feelings towards her. The entire capital knows it as well. All of Canaveras, too. If not the entire country. My royal cousin is the quintessence of everything that irritates me about my glorious motherland. Her flamboyant righteousness, forced selflessness, and, sadly, her sincere devotion and austerity. The Count frowns. I must give her credit for one thing, though. She somehow managed to keep this country united, even despite the unrelenting demonic threat and the influx of thousands of foreigners every day. After a pause, Dearan continues. Gallifrey of Mendev is like a demigoddess to many of our paladins. She is the Crusader Queen, the sword of Iomide. Is there any other monarch on Glorian whose subjects love them so ardently? The church, man, I can't read. The church pays for her life elixirs so that she can continue to be the cement that keeps the crusade together. Without her, this whole this whole war machine would fall to pieces immediately, and I'd so love to watch it crumble. This holy pot is in need of a good stir. What's your opinion on Mendev today in general? It doesn't exist, Dearan scowls. It is a frontier country that has attracted every utopian, adventurer, and fanatic from all over the world for more than a century. It is a place where the strangers outnumber the locals, especially in the cemeteries. The population of Mendev, for the most part, consists of humans and other races not exactly known for their longevity. So the current generation of Mendevians were born in the shadow of the world wound and raised by the Crusaders. I might be the last person to complain about the decline of traditions and lack of character in our country, but I also happen to come from one of Mendev's most ancient lineages. Its history is bred deep in my bones. My tutors told me stories about my heritage, the galleries, libraries, and even the interiors of the manors I grew up in were filled to the brim with memories of events long past. There are many heroes of old Mendev among my glorious ancestors, or at least patrons and contemporaries of such heroes. Does anyone actually remember them now? I don't think so. These days, Mendev has its own heroes, in shining armor and with holy fire in their eyes. I myself remember how several streets that once celebrated my ancestors were renamed in honor of some crusaders who had died in heroic fashion. None of the citizens remember the old crossing festival that was eventually replaced by armistices. These holidays are even share the same date. Pretty much the only authentic thing about Mendev now is the endless war with the demons. And is there a point in bemoaning the state of affairs? What's gone is gone, but at least there is no longer some tiny god-forsaken northern kingdom, and that's something, isn't it? You don't really like Crusaders, do you? Imagine being someone like me, someone who has everything they could possibly desire: youth, beauty, wealth, an honest wish to live and enjoy living, but vanishing few ways to put it to any good use. The fact that the word fun itself is not yet outlawed in Mendev must be due to some bureaucratic oversight. You can celebrate your victories solemnly. You can wet your whistle after a challenging battle. But what about real fun? Joys, pleasures. I can't remember a single evening at court without someone chastising me for my banquets, my lovers and mistresses, my luxurious clothes, my everything. It would have been a lot easier to tolerate all those hypocrites if they took a breath once in a while. Instead, there was a constant fuss about how I wasn't doing anything for the greater good and how I only brought shame to my royal cousin. What do you think about our enemies? Do you mean the demons themselves or their followers? The former deserve to be cleansed with heavenly fire for their unholy origin alone, and the latter for their idiocy. I don't understand why a sane person would submit themselves to Dascari or Kebriri. All right. Excuse me. All right. Lady Nocticula almost seems like a bearable enough mistress, yet there are so many other cultists. They've tried to recruit me twice already, and I'm not even that old. First a very pretty tiefling girl tried to seduce me. Then they came with promises of Lord Baphomet's endless boons. I will wonder what exactly the old hornhead could offer me that I don't already have. You know what I've been thinking? Every shopkeeper knows the trick. An enticing offer along the lines of, "One in every 100 buns from my bakery contains a silver coin," and, of course, a hired actress to make a memorable show of finding said coin in her sweet roll. And there you have it. Hundreds of gullible fools storm the shop, hoping to win a prize for themselves. I think the infamous Arilu Vorlesh was such an actress for the Lords of the Abyss, a pretty Sarkonian witch who became the uncrowned queen of the Worldwound, waited upon hand and foot by demon lords. Only instead of visiting a bakery, the gullible fools rushed to join the cultists. We have an army of unbelievably powerful supernatural invaders from another dimension, hell-bent on destruction and domination. And what do these fools do? They serve themselves willingly as pawns and lackeys, hoping against hope that someday their masters will notice them. You won't believe how delighted I am to be so vain and self-absorbed. These sins protect me against demonic temptation better than any virtue. He does have a point. I can't think of anything else at the moment. Wonderful. So how do you like your new role, advisor? Dearan winces. You also enjoy poking me with that stick, don't you? Imagine it. Me, a crusader. If my dearest cousin hoped to teach me a lesson, she managed it perfectly. An assignment I couldn't avoid without losing face. This idiotic journey leading straight into the demon's maw. I could have been on a pleasure boat right now, with the loveliest songstress in Pitax on my arm, and a bottle of the finest Kionan wine to keep us company. Did you also receive a fraction of that unusual power? Looks like it. I generally hoped that getting away from you would be the end of it. If your gift truly did come from Iomide, then giving me a smidgen of that power was a very subtle joke on her part. I had no idea that our divine Lightbringer of Mendev even had a sense of humor. Don't get me started on my many acts of sacrilege against her. That obscene engraving, the truth about the test of the star zones, is the tamest one by far. I should go. Goodbye. All right. We
Let's
talked.
move.
Now let's go find some trouble. He's tempting. That ranged heal is amazing of his. All right. So let's see. We got the underground hideout, the inconspicuous camp. There's Heaven's Edge. Go check out the inconspicuous camp, or the inconspicuous camp. Small map. Well, let's talk to this little critter. Krenuk, the aged kobold sitting by a small campfire, not on it, greets you with an amicable gesture. He doesn't reach for his weapon or hiss threateningly. All in all, his behavior is highly unusual for one of his kind. His clothes look quite unusual too. Not many kobolds opt for human clothing, nor do they adorn their possessions with spikes or scales. Greetings! My name is Krenuk. I'm here alone, so you may safely come closer. He speaks smoothly, without the usual kobold hissing. Moving slightly aside, the kobold points to the carcass of a small animal roasting on an open fire. Dinner will be ready soon. Who are you? As I've already mentioned, my name is Krenuk, at your service. The kobold offers a short bow, an unusual gesture for one of his kind to make. As a rule, kobolds do not express their respect to anyone other than dragons. I'm a traveler and a friend of the crusade. I can be your friend too, if you are tolerant to kobolds. Krenuk utters the word tolerant with shocking ease, as if he is something other than the narrow-minded and savage subterranean beast you expected him to be. Kobolds are infamous for worshipping dragons and despising all other races. And few of them would even understand the concept of tolerance, let alone subscribe to it. Wait, what did you just say? Tolerant? Are you sure you're a kobold? Ah, so you saw through my disguise. Krenuk tried to mislead you with sweet words and then ambush you. The kobold utters a loud hiss, which then morphs into an assumed chuckle. Of course I'm a kobold. Trust me, you are not the first to be shocked after hearing me speak and realizing I am not going to rob or kill you. I'm lucky. If representatives of other races want to be seen as intellectuals or decent conversationalists, they have to read a lot of books, refine their manner, possess a passing knowledge of classical theater, and douse themselves in fine perfume. Whereas in my case, all I have to do is not lunge at you with a spear or hiss every other word. I like Krenuk. Was it you who left me the note? The kobold shrugs. Of course. Who else could it be? I wanted to make sure you were interested in the information I can provide. Not at the bonfire. What are you cooking? Judging by its ears and hind legs, it's a hare. The kobold casts a dubious glance at the animal's mouth, which boasts such huge teeth. Or maybe it's a tiger. Depends on your point of view, I suppose. What do you want from me? I want nothing from you. I'm asking for nothing. I'm simply offering help. I sympathize with your cause, so I would like to provide whatever support I can from time to time. Does that work for you? The kobold stops and looks at you acceptantly. How exactly can you help me? With advice, mostly. Throughout my life, I've seen a lot, and a piece of timely advice can be extremely valuable, don't you agree? Of course, if your advisor is a kobold, the merits are not so obvious. But you're in luck. This kobold right here has extensive knowledge of a variety of matters that you may find useful someday. After some thought, he nods towards the campfire. One more thing I have to offer is this hair. After it is cooked. How do you know so much about demons? Krina gives you a long and heavy look. I've had some experience with them, but I don't want to go into the details right now. All I'm saying is that after a rather short and not even hostile encounter with them, I stopped eating meat for several years. What's the catch? No catch. I am acting as for wholly altruistic reasons. But my motives are something I would rather not reveal. Krenak turns his face to you and his wrinkles become more visible in the glow of the fire. We just met 5 minutes ago. Don't you think it's too early to expect complete candor just yet? As I've already told you, I am a friend of the Crusade. You can trust me, or you can choose to trust me, or you can leave. I offer help and ask for nothing in return. So the question is simple. Will you accept the claw of friendship from a stranger, or is your distrust stronger than your need for help? Thank you. We would appreciate any help. Krenak nods agreeably. Then we have a deal. You won't regret your decision. Just drop by my camp every now and then so we can have a word. Perhaps I'll even give you some useful tips. Pulling out a small knife, the traveler carefully cuts 2 strips of meat from the roasted hare. He throws one in his toothy maw and graciously offers the other to you. A strange animal for sure, but it seems edible. The energies of the world wound mask everything in illusion. Harmless-looking animals try to eat you for dinner, dangerous paths appear to be straight roads, and sometimes your enemies can look like your friends. Chinook squints and looks deeply into your eyes. Have you ever been in a situation like this? First, you think a person is a friend and an ally, but then the scales fall from your eyes and you realize they're actually your sworn enemy. So you catch this person, you tie them up, and then you start thinking, how should you treat them now? Like your enemy? Like your former friend? It's hard to decide. What would you do if one of your friends turned out to be a traitor? Those who have lost their way must be saved. We need to help them return to the path of righteousness. Did some cleric tell you that? And have you ever seen one of those who returned to the path of righteousness? Stop listening to others and use your head. We're not talking about children here. The decision to collaborate with demons is a little different from yanking on the family cat's tail. To make such a decision, a person would have to be a truly vile scumbag. Or, just where do you people get this beautiful naivety from? Something in Chinook's voice sounds merciless like cold steel. If you catch a traitor, grab them and shake them till they spit everything they know. Some need to be tortured, others will crack if you threaten their family or bribe them with promises of mercy and gold. Wring the traitor dry like a rag mop. And think about war, not about ethics. At least that's what smart people write in the books. The fever fades from the kobold's voice. but subtle glints still flicker in the eyes. You got really worked up there. Who, me? Not at all. You say that like you're an expert on kobolds, as if you can intuit our deepest feelings and emotions. I'm not convinced. Kobalt shrugs. Was I trying to convince you? I was stating my opinion. Well then, if we're discussing traitors, it's fortunate that betrayal is not reserved for mortals alone. Demons stab each other in the back far more frequently. The rumor is that there are at least 2 demon stashes within Dearan, filled with arms and supplies that were stolen by Discarites from Baphomet and vice versa. One of them is near the entrance of the fortress, while the other one lies by the entrance of the citadel. Well, that is valuable information. Of course it is. I wouldn't waste your time. Cracking his knuckles, Krinyuk gives you an inquisitive look. I hope that when the time comes for you to make real decisions instead of hypothetical ones, your wisdom won't fail you. Just one bad choice can turn a revered leader into a disgraced pariah. I've seen it happen before. I lived through something like that. My tribe suffered a disaster caused by one bad choice. Can you imagine it? Kobalt squints sadly, his shoulders slumping a bit. With a sigh, he begins to talk. I don't like telling this story, but it might be useful for you to know it. Perhaps it will serve as a warning. Sure, will you tell me? Cricknuck clears his throat and starts talking in a sonorous voice that reveals his experience as a bard. I was born into a mighty and proud tribe of the Night Ruby. Our caves were vast, our mine shafts were rich in quartz and metals, and our underground lakes were brimming with fish. And of course, we had plenty of slaves. The Night Ruby was a model of Kobold's success. It was tight-knit, greedy, and aggressive tribe that intimidated even a few of the nearby human settlements. But there was a flaw underlining our power. Once, long ago, a leader of our tribe signed a pact with devils, promising the souls of every tribe member in exchange for help and prosperity. Since then, every new All-Watcher has agreed to the pact, and the power of the tribe grew, as did the number of lost souls. It was like that until our leader, Ermac, came to power. She was a principled and proud elder who didn't want to bend a knee to hell, so she refused to sign the pact, and all kinds of calamities befell our tribe. Our tribe was attacked by its neighbors, at the devil's instigation. Epidemics broke out. Then our slaves rebelled. They came after their former masters in the dead of the night. Our clutches of eggs were ravaged, our altars were desecrated, and our warriors were slain in their burrows. The slaves paid us in full for our cruelty and arrogance. They hunted us, chasing us down through the caves and mine shafts, level by level. When we were finally left alone, we had no idea where we were. All we saw around us was darkness, and lurking in the darkness were bloodthirsty and dangerous predators. After raising his voice dramatically, Krinnuk suddenly stops. Then he adds a teasing smile. I think this moment is enough of a cliffhanger to stop here. I'd like to know more about you. I'm flattered, but what's so special about me? I've never accomplished any feats on the battlefield. I don't know any special crafts. I don't even belong to an exotic species. I don't have the slightest idea what you could find interesting about me. Why did you decide to come here, to the World Wound? I just don't like it when the residents of the lower planes get involved in the lives of mortals. I firmly believe that we don't need any advisors to help us handle our own affairs. And we need overlords even less. What do you do? I'm a traveling bard, and I can already foresee your next questions. How does a bard, who also happens to be a kobold, manage to make a living? All the civilized races of Avestan know that when you encounter a kobold, the best course of action is to smash its skull, trample it with a horse, then burn the remains, just in case. Well, the prejudice that civilized peoples have regarded my kin with is quite understandable. Our infamy as robbers and murderers is more than deserved. So just imagine the spectacle in any tavern when an articulate kobold in decent clothes shows up, offering to share a story or two for a few coins and a mug of ale. I assure you, no matter how big of a deal you are, if you drop by any tavern in Andorian, all eyes will be on me. I am an exotic oddity. Remind me who you are. As I've mentioned, my name is Chinook, at your service. The kobold offers a short bow. Yep. I'm a traveler and friend. Okay, yep. We already read all that stuff. You're different from other kobolds. So, you were expecting this stupid kobold to praise dragons and boast about his exploits. Krenek grins mischievously. My life is giving me many opportunities to communicate with beings of other races, so I found a common language with them. I have no more questions. That's good, because I'm starting to run out of answers. I have a question about the demons. You mentioned you know a lot about them. My humble knowledge is at your disposal. What is the demon's main weakness? It's a fact that they are hostage to their own nature, and by their nature, demons are just a bunch of mad apes, a grotesque parody of ordinary chaos. You don't need to make a bunch of apes angry, you just give one of them a banana and arm the other with a stick. They will kill each other without your direct intervention. How do you know so much about demons? Crinchunk gives you a long and healthy look. Oh, yeah, we already talked about that one. Do you know anything about wounds inflicted by demons that first appear, then disappear, and later reappear? Do I need to resort to platitudes such as, the weirdest trick can be expected from demons, or can I just skip that part? I've never heard of anything like you're describing, but some sort of nasty stuff appears in the world wound every day. However, if we think about it some more, don't you think that this wound doesn't cause enough trouble to be something the demons did to you on purpose? When you're hit by the magic of the abyss, you know instantly that death is coming your way, and fast. Everything is clear to me now. Have you heard about my unusual powers? My humble knowledge is at your disposal. Okay, that just... Oh, I hit the wrong button. There we go. I've heard you're either extremely lucky or quite the opposite. You survived the massacre in Canaveras just to spearhead a new suicide mission. On the other hand, you survived then, and most likely you will survive now. Good luck in this noble endeavor. I have to go. Good luck. I believe you'll need it. Alright, let's just we're not going to steal from him because that would be rude. Oh, this was just the teeniest of maps. There we go. Let's see. Let's cross the river here. Oh, we failed to sneak past the enemy.
We won't fall here. I swear it.
Oh, that guy looks. What the heck? An ash giant and a ferocious something or other.
Cover me, all right?
Missed. That was terrible. Oh, it's in right by yeah. Oh, she doesn't have a weapon. I thought I gave her a weapon. Oh, ah! There's something over here too. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. A grown Nabashu. Come on, kitty. Keep moving. Let's throw on mage armor.
Excellent. Yes. Yes.
Begone, fiend!
Forwards!
He just threw up on me. That's gross.
No glory without risk.
Sash Giant was scared away. Okay.
You crossed the wrong mongrel.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
Now this thing's pretty tough.
Mind over muscle.
Fall!
Ah. Big whiff.
We won't falter!
Oh my goodness.
I'm wounded!
Oh, it's not puking on me. It's like sucking the blood out of me. Oh, that's... No, that is not what I... Stupid.
You won't survive me.
Ah. So snowball. Come on, mouse.
Yes.
Nice hit with a snowball.
I will bring down the divine wrath.
Yeah.
Strike with all your might!
Oh, we're not riding blue again. Dang it, I keep forgetting to put on ride
The
blue.
Inheritor, guide my blade.
Endure this.
46. Nice hits.
Let me help.
Magritium Turinos.
Get a few heals going here.
Magritium Turinos. Magritium Turinos. Magritium Turinos. Magritium Turinos.
I really like some of these spells. Let's use the whole person spell.
Magritium Turinos.
Alright. Giant Club. Master of Bardiche. Alright, looks like just a random encounter. Enemy fort blocks the way. You don't know what size army is at that enemy fort either. Alright, let's head back to camp. Then we'll lead. When we leave, we'll leave with Dearan, and that way we can go to the manor and get that quest taken care of. Well, let's go rest, so we don't forget. I gotta wait for blue because I didn't have blue with me. Oh, there's Anivia. She's back. All right, let's do a rest.
Tell me, Regil, back when you were a regular soldier, did you get whipped a lot?
Just the right amount to make me a decent fighter.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and head out. Pick up Dearan. Swap out Sozel. Pick up Dearan. Go to our soldiers. Come on. Now we're a level 5 demon army. Whereas there's a level 5 demon army in our way. Yeah, we don't got the money. We can almost get these clerics. Morale is capped. Or is, I mean, not if it's capped, but it's up there really high, so that's good. Alrighty. Almost at that hour mark, so let's go ahead and call this one here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. As usual, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Yeah. So I've been Sir Joseph. You guys have been awesome as always. Stay safe out there for me, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.